welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Vado. But we are finally at the day of the unhaul project that you have all been waiting for. Well, I mean, I've been waiting for it too, so I'm assuming you've been waiting for it. First, we have to talk about if we need to unhaul this monstrosity of a dog. Her name is Bella. She is kind of old, actually. Don't let her hear you say that. She is Bella Boo, or Boo Boo, or Boo, or Belly. You know, like your belly. She loves long naps, and I'm trying to think of anything else that she likes, but she's kind of like me. She likes to eat and she likes long naps. That about sums it up. Right, Bella? Yep. So, not yet sponsored by her, although she thinks it is. Anyways, we are finally gonna go through my maybe pile and decide if I need to read the first chapter. So we'll do like a chapter tag for the remaining maybe pile. We'll do unhaul, and we'll keep some. Maybe. We'll see. So I'm gonna try and do this with Bella on my lap, but we'll see how well this works. So it might be one at a time. It looks like it's gonna have to be for the angle that we're at and everything. The first one is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zordia Cordova. I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile. So we will have to try the first chapter of that one. The Sullivan Sisters by Catherine Morsby. This one is also an inheritance thriller. This one's young adult. The other one is adult. And this one's more of a thriller. The other one is more of a horror novel. So I'm going to read the first chapter of this one too. Then there's The Mall by Megan McCrafty. I'm going to unhaul this one. I think I was holding on to it just because of the, 1991 is when it took place, and it just feels nostalgic for me because my husband and I were actually talking semi-recently, about how malls are a thing of the past and how it's kind of sad because they were like a big part of our childhood. Maybe not a huge part of our childhood, but like we both have very fond memories of like going to the mall with our families, or even when we first started dating, we went to a couple of malls. There's one in particular that we like to, well, I mean, I'm old now, so it's okay. We like to skip school, and we would go to this mall and walk around, and like we just window shop and get some lunch, and then go back to school and go on the bus or however we all got home, but most of the day was spent at the mall. Or even on the weekends, we just go to the mall and window shop and hang out, and it was a great way to pass the time, and it was a lot of fun. So I think I was just keeping it just because of the nostalgic factor, but I'm not 100% sure this is going to be a type of book that I'm really interested in. Okay, so I guess I grabbed two. Oh, I Have No Secrets by Penny Jolson. So, to be quite honest, my book of the month shelf was right there, and then I started putting my maybe books on there. So, some of these are just my book of the month books. This was one that I picked this month. It came out a couple years ago, but I haven't read it, and it looked really good, so I will be keeping this one. Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. This is a young adult fantasy about witches that are being murdered. You follow a coven with light magic versus dark magic. I need to read the first chapter to figure out if I want to keep it. They All Fall Down by Roxanne St. Clair. Okay, this one's a hard one because, like, it does sound good, but it's also young adult, and I don't hate young adult, I just don't connect to it as much as I used to. I feel like all of them are still in the maybe pile. There's No Offense by Meg Cabot. So I'm gonna unhaul this one. Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart. Obviously, it's a book of the month book. This one I actually have on audiobook from my library coming in the next 2 weeks. So I plan on reading it very, very soon. So I will be keeping that. The Hunting Wives by May Kaw. So I've heard this compared to Little Fires Everywhere, which I DNF'd. I didn't like it. And Big Little Lies, which I've never been interested in reading. I think one big reason that I got this was because Gabby from Gabby Reads likes it. But part of me is actually really interested in this one. So I will put it in my maybe pile. Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth Emmy Lang. I'm going to keep. Sky Falling by Mia Mackenzie. So I did read this one. And I haven't ever given my thoughts about it or even told you guys that I read it. I was hoping, I don't know what I was hoping for. I was hoping that this would help educate myself a little bit about motherhood and things like that, because you follow Sky, who donated her eggs when she was 25 and now she's 40. Not quite. 26 and broke when she donated them. Okay, and then a 12-year-old girl tracks her down and says, oh, well, you're kind of like my egg mom because I was born from your egg. And I really just wanted it to be something that it just didn't end up being for me. I think I hyped it up too much in my head that, oh, it's gonna be this very powerful novel about what it means to be a mom, and it just didn't do that for me. I didn't like this one at all. So I am going to unhaul it. No surprise there. It was just that I was hoping it was something that it wasn't. And Sky was a very unlikable character, and sometimes that's okay, but in this instance, I just never connected to her. I didn't like her, and honestly, I just wanted this book to be over. So I'm unhauling. Then The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood. This is the same author of All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, which I absolutely loved when I read it. So that is the only reason that I got it, but I am excited to read it. I have since DNF'd it and unhauled it. This Song Will Save Your Life by Leela Sales. This is a hard-hitting young adult contemporary about music and the power of music to save you when you're kind of depressed. And I got it mostly because Kayla from Books and Lala liked it. But this is, based on the synopsis, it's definitely one that I've read before, this type of book. But it's definitely up my alley of what I would like. So I'm going to keep this one for now. Terrace for Hire by Erin McCarthy. I'm going to unhaul this one. I Am Behind You by John Sweden's Stephen King. Yes. This one actually sounds really good. It's about these 4 families that go camping, and then when they wake up and leave their campsite, the world has changed and there's something eerie about it. So it's still got kind of like a mystery feel, but I think it's more of a horror novel. And I am somewhat interested in it, so okay, we'll keep this in the maybe as well. There's The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. The thing about this book is that, like, this doctor, I want to say he's a doctor. His wife was in a terrible accident. She's basically been dead for 4 years, but he comes up with some science miracle and he brings her back to life, or he creates, I'm not entirely sure, like a robot version of her or her clone, or I'm not, like I said, I'm not entirely sure. So that part doesn't sound that good to me, but I have read from this author before and I really did like it. Oh my gosh, am I going to put this in the maybe pile? I think I have to put it in the maybe pile. And there's Not a Sound by Heather Gudenkauf. I'm going to unhaul this one. Then there's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Okay, so I've read this and I really, really enjoyed it. But my thinking was maybe I'm not going to reread it, but I really want to keep books that I'm so excited for. Like, I want my favorite shelf to be books that I enjoyed, and I absolutely loved this book. It has such a special place in my heart, so it doesn't make sense for me to unhaul it. Then there's Part of Your World by Abby Hemensey. I am going to keep this one. It is my least favorite of Abby Hemensey's work, and that's why it was on the maybe pile, but I still really, really enjoyed it. Maybe when we reevaluate my TBR and my favorites shelf again, maybe next year, I don't know, maybe it'll become like a yearly thing or something. Maybe when we reevaluate, though, I will have the other books that I like more by this author, and we can decide to keep the ones that I really absolutely adore. But this was still a good romance, so I'm gonna keep it. Then I Killed Zoe Sopranos by Kit Frick. So beautiful blue sprayed edges, and honestly I love this book. 5 out of 5 stars for me, but I don't see myself rereading it. And like I said before, I only want to keep books that, did I love this book? Yes. Am I ever going to reread it? I don't know, because one of the reasons that I loved this book so much is because of, like, the twist in there. Like, I live for that. But now that I know the twist, is it gonna still hold such a valuable place in my heart? I mean, but it's beautiful, right? Oh. You know what? I think I'm gonna keep Little Monsters and I Killed Zoe Sopranos. I have since decided to unhaul both of these books. They are absolutely favorites of mine, but I know the twist in these books, so they are no longer a part of my collection. The next one we have is Big Bad by Lily Anderson. I was sent Big Bad by the publisher, so thank you for sending it my way, but I am not interested, so I have since unhauled it. Then there's Poison Study and Magic Study by Marie V. Snyder. these were mostly on my list because I don't want to start a new series, but you know, I'm not in the middle of a ton of series, and I don't typically like series. Usually I just read a standalone and I'm good. But if a series is catching my eye, then I should keep it. So I'm going to keep these. It's like witches and murder and magic and a lot of fun. One Lucky Day by Jill Chavez. This has 2 books in a series. I think it's like a companion novel series, you know, like a romance series. Have double the fun with these 2 Lucky Harbor novels, Head Over Heels and Lucky in Love. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna unhaul it. Sickened by Julie Gregory. Okay, I think I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. Like, in a lot of ways, I really want to read this. I feel like this is going to be something that I absolutely love. But in a lot of ways, I feel like this one might break me more than any other book has. And right now, I can't read it. But I did just read A Dog's Journey. That broke me. I read that last week, and it's still messing me up. So this is Sickened. This is the true story of a mom and a daughter. So the young girl is sick, but I'm 90% sure that mom is poisoning her and making her sick. And that sickens me. So, okay, maybe. Then there's Wasted by Maria Hornbecker. I do really want to read this, so I'm going to keep it. Together We Stand, an infographic timeline of feminism. If I haven't read it by now, I don't think I'm going to. So I think I'm just going to unhaul it. Thank you so much for going through my maybe pile. Let's look at what books I'm going to be doing a try a chapter tag of. So I'm going to go through these and then we'll wrap up this video. So Sickened by Julie Gregory. The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. I Am Behind You by Sweden's Stephen King, because I can't say his last name. The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. They All Fall Down by Roxanne St. Clair. Witches of Ashen Ruin by E. Latimer. The Solomon Sisters by Catherine Orsby. And The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zordia Cordova. So there are 8 books that are still in my maybe pile. So there will be at least one try a chapter tag coming up very, very soon. If not this week, then next week as part of a video every day in October. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here.